Naram chaiva narottamam Devim sarasvatim vyasam Tato jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati ruttama shloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. As we have been doing, we'll continue our discussion on the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. We are doing that by singing the Sad Goswami Ashtakam, which is the 8 verses glorifying the 6 Goswamis. Every week we take one verse and discuss about different Goswamis. Right now we are discussing about Srila Sanatana Goswami. If any of you have been following some of the classes since before. And this Sad Goswami Ashtakam is written by Srila Srinivas Acharya, who is the 2nd generation of devotees after Lord Chaitanya. And he was personally trained by Srila Jiva Goswami along with 2 of his other associates, Srila Shyamananda Pandit and Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And all of these 3 were very good friends. They are examples of great spiritual friendship between God brothers. Now each of their gurus, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamananda Pandit, their Diksha gurus were different. They had taken Diksha from 3 different Gaudiya Vaishnava gurus, but they were sent by their gurus to take Shiksha or education, learning from Srila Jiva Goswami. So we will see that Srila Jiva Goswami was the Shiksha Guru of all of these 3, and these 3 had very wonderful, intimate friendship. And it's a wonderful example in for today's ISKCON society, where we have so many different gurus. But our primary Shiksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada. And how, even though we have different gurus, we've taken Diksha and initiation from different gurus, we still can work together, serve together, have great friendships with one another if we can follow their example. So Srinivas Acharya, he was personally trained by Jiva Goswami, and therefore he had personal association of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan: Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. These 6 Goswamis were specially chosen by Lord Chaitanya to spread his mission, to spread his message, and to set example for the rest of the devotees. So we spoke about Srila Rupa Goswami previously. We are continuing to speak about Srila Sanatana Goswami, and we will sing the 5th verse of the Sad Goswami Ashtakam and then discuss about the glories of Sanatana Goswami. Today, hopefully we will be able to complete the discussion of the glories of Srila Sanatana Goswami. It's been going on since, I think, 3 to 4 classes now, And we can actually go on and on about the glories of each Goswami, but for the purpose of glorifying everyone, we'll try to pause the glories of Srila Sanatana Goswami this time. Okay, so we sing the 5th verse. Kujata kokilaham sasara sagana kirne mayurakule nana ratna nibadhamu lavitapa Shri Shri Radha Krishna Maharnisham Prabhajato Jivarthado Yaumuda Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugam Shri Jiva Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugam Shri Jiva Gopalakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were always engaged in worshipping Radha Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where there are beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers, which have under their roots all valuable jewels. The Goswamis are perfectly competent to bestow upon the living entities the greatest boon of the goal of life. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here, this verse is explaining about how the 6 Goswamis, they are always engaged in worshipping Radha Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan. And today we'll discuss some of the pastimes of Srila Sanatana Goswami in Vrindavan. He actually, so far we discussed about Sanatana Goswami meeting Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. And then from Puri, now he leaves for Vrindavan. We'll discuss many such wonderful pastimes because Sanatana Goswami, he stayed in Puri for 1 full year. And after the Dol Yatra, which is Gaur Purnima, actually at that time Gaur Purnima was not celebrated when Lord Chaitanya was there. It wasn't like the festival that we have right now. Lord Chaitanya wouldn't like it. But after that, after Holi or Dol Yatra, Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami that now you should go to Vrindavan. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he tells us that it was such a piteous scene as the Lord and his devotee Sanatana Goswami were about to be separated. Sanatana Goswami did not want to leave Lord Chaitanya, but he had to also follow the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sanatana Goswami got the notes of Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who was the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya when Lord Chaitanya went to Vrindavan. When Lord Chaitanya went to South India, his personal servant was Kala Krishnadas. And when Lord Chaitanya went to Vrindavan, his personal servant was Balabhadra Bhattacharya. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya took notes while he was traveling with Lord Chaitanya. And Sanatana Goswami asked him exactly which places Lord Chaitanya stopped and performed his leelas on the way to Vrindavan. So Sanatana Goswami could follow the same route, and while going to Vrindavan, remember Lord Chaitanya and put some soothing balm on the separation that he felt. Srila Prabhupada explains that any place the Lord performs his leela, even a place where he stops for 1 second, even the place he just walks through, is worshipable by devotees. So Sanatana Goswami, he went through Jharikhanda forest, where Lord Chaitanya made the animals dance to the tune of the Hare Krishna mantra. He visited different places of Lord's pastimes, and then he arrived in Vrindavan. Finally, after several years of leaving Vrindavan, coming to Jagannath Puri, in those days they had to walk, and it would take months. Now we could go in about 1.5 days, or if we take a flight the same day itself, we can go from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. But in those days, it took months for Srila Sanatana Goswami to go from Vrindavan to Puri, and then stayed here for 1 full year, and then back to Vrindavan. So it was a couple of years before Sanatana Goswami was reunited with Srila Rupa Goswami in Vrindavan. And Sanatana Goswami, with him, he brought many great Vedic scriptures, because Lord Chaitanya had asked him that your mission is to extract the essence from all the scriptures and write books. That is the service that all the 6 Goswamis had done for us. And many of Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada claims that they are from the teachings of the 6 Goswamis. When devotees from Jagannath Puri or Bengal, when they returned home after their visit to Vrindavan, everyone would ask them, did you see Rupa Goswami? Did you see Sanatana Goswami? What are they doing? Where are they living? What are they eating? Please tell us about them. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were famous all over the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And these devotees would say, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they've left the riches of the royal opulence in Ramakeli. They were in palaces, and now they have no fixed place of residence. They sleep either under a tree or under the bushes of Vraja. They sleep under different bush, different tree every night. They go out and beg door to door on Madhukari. Many devotees who go on Vrajamandal Parikrama, they relish going on Madhukari. They just go and knock on the door of a Vrajvasi and just say Bhiksham Dehi. And the Vrajvasis, they may not be financially or economically very stable, but still, whatever is there in their house, little chapati, little rice, little sabji, they come and very happily give to all the devotees. There is no Brajbasi door where you cannot knock and then you'll be sent away. You knock the door, you just say some prasad, they'll happily go in very eagerly, prepare some chapatis, they make some tikkar prasad. If chapati and aloo sabji, they roll it together and they give it to you. And those chapatis are so organic because they are made from the natural oven that they have. It's not through microwavable rays and things like that. It's made of mud, and the chapatis taste so sweet. So Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, they would just go out and beg door to door. And then the devotees would say the only type of food they get is some dry chapati, dry roti, and sometimes fried chickpeas. They're always chanting the holy names, they're always discussing, they're constantly immersed in meditating. They just wear some torn, discarded clothes, and in winter a little torn quilt. That's all that they have. And their only focus, only service, only essence is to meditate on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and carry out his orders, to write the books, declare the essence of all knowledge in pure devotional service. They were completely free from sense gratification. And then when Sanatana Goswami's priest from Ramakeli in West Bengal, when he heard about Sanatana Goswami's life in Vrindavan, his priest renounced his loyal services and came to take initiation from Sanatana Goswami. And every day Sanatana Goswami would then travel from one place of Vraja to another place of Vraja, the entire Vrajamandal Parikrama he would do, and the Brajvasis became more dear to him than his very life. When he would come to a particular village in Vraja, people of that village would be very happy to see him. And then the whole village would come, there would be tears of joy, they would welcome Sanatana Goswami. They loved him so dearly, especially of the 6 Goswamis. The Brajbasis loved Sanatana Goswami very dearly because the older people would consider him just like their son, because he would respect them, he would speak to them so sweetly. He was like a counselor for everyone. He was a sannyasi. He was actually even a Babaji. He was a Sanatana Goswami, but he would interact with them in such a spiritual way, at the same time just like a family member. He was himself not married, but he would give counsel to grihasthas. They would consider him just like a brother, the elderly would consider just like a son, and everyone, even though they felt that family relationship, they all respected him as their guru. Sanatana Goswami actually was the guru of all Brajabhumi. Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, he was a little private. He would stay in his cave and just keep writing and interact with very few devotees. But Sanatana Goswami, he would go and interact with everyone, serve them, and in this way everyone felt very much affectionate towards him. Sanatana Goswami did not like anyone to touch his feet, but the young people would come and touch his feet, and he loved the young people so much that he would not say no to them. Then when the older people would come, even though he was their guru, still they would forget to touch his feet. And he would not mind, he would not demand, oh, I am your guru, why didn't you touch your feet, why didn't you pay obeisances? He would come and meet them so sweetly, and speak in Braj Bhasha and talk to them. They would feel more loved than feeling awe and reverence. They would ask them, how many children do you have? Whom did you marry? How many cows do you have? He would arrange marriage between, okay, now your son is getting older. I know one family whose daughter is about to get married, and then he would arrange their marriage, but he would at the same time be very detached. How is your farming going? What types of crops are you growing? What are you doing with your crops? And he would give some so-called material advice also, material wisdom. It was not all spiritual wisdom. Of course, he would encourage them to chant Hare Krishna, to remember Krishna. Of course, they were all Brajbasis, so they had that already within them. But still, he would encourage them. But at the same time, he would actually take care of their so-called material needs. We should learn from this that in the association of devotees, the primary purpose is to remind each other of Krishna. But in order for us to remember Krishna, we also need some emotional support, we need some intellectual support, we need some material support, so-called material support. And in the association of devotees, if we can help each other in this way, so that with the purpose of relieving each other's anxiety in such a way that all of us can focus on the holy names without any anxiety, then that association of devotees becomes very strong. And that's what Sanatana Goswami created, a family feeling. And then he would walk to a next village and everyone would be crying to receive him in happiness. And this was his daily life, just making people cry. He would cry himself. He loved crying in the meeting. He would be happy in crying, and then while leaving he would cry in separation. There was a village called Baitan in Braja. And when Sanatana Goswami was about to leave, those devotees were pleading, please don't go, stay at least 2 or 3 more days. So, due to the love of these devotees, Sanatana Goswami changed his whole regulation and stayed with them for a few more days. And since that time, that village became very famous amongst Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Oh, do you know, this was the village where Sanatana Goswami broke his regulation and he stayed more than 2 or 3 days. And one time when he was traveling like this, he came to Nandaghat on the bank of the river Yamuna. There he found Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was weeping and crying out the holy names of the Lord. And Sanatana Goswami was very aggrieved seeing Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was a nephew of Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. At the same time, he was their disciple. In fact, he had asked Rupa Goswami to take that, please give me initiation. And Rupa Goswami said, no, while my elder brother is there, I cannot give you initiation. Please take initiation from Sanatana Goswami. So Jiva Goswami took initiation from Sanatana Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami told Jiva Goswami, now you go and take shiksha from Rupa Goswami. So in one sense, Jiva Goswami is considered to be a disciple of Rupa Goswami because he took shiksha from there. Our disciplic succession is more a shiksha line than a diksha line. Even the Prabhupada, when he has written all the parampara, if you see, it is more of a shiksha parampara, because the diksha guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur was someone else. I think, was someone else. I don't remember his name. But Shiksha Guru was Jagannath Das Babaji. So if you see in the parampara, it says Jagannath Das Babaji, and then the next is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, next is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So ours is a Shiksha parampara. So even though Jiva Goswami took Diksha from Sanatana Goswami sent him to Rupa Goswami for Shiksha. So he saw his Diksha disciple and his nephew, Jiva Goswami, weeping and crying out the holy names of the Lord on the bank of river Yamuna, and he asked, Jiva, what happened? Why are you here? There is a lot of pain that I can feel in your chanting of the holy names. And Jiva Goswami said, "My dear Sanatana Goswami, I have been exiled by Rupa Goswami." And Sanatana Goswami said, "What? Why? What happened?" He said, Vallabha Bhatta, one scholar, he came to Vrindavan and he volunteered to help Rupa Goswami to edit Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Ter Kadamba, Srila Rupa Goswami was sitting and writing Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion, which we know as nectar of devotion. Srila Prabhupada has translated the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in English. And when it was originally being written by Rupa Goswami, Vallabha Bhatta came to Vrindavan and volunteered to correct certain grammatical errors in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to help Rupa Goswami to edit it. But Jiva Goswami told Vallabha Bhatta that, no, this is perfect. What do you mean correcting grammatical errors on Rupa Goswami's work? It's perfect. And Vallabha Bhatta, he came back to Rupa Goswami and said, well, here is your book. There is no need for any corrections. If your disciple Jiva Goswami is so learned, how can I correct you? Because Jiva Goswami had asked Vallabha Bhatta, what are the corrections? Tell me. And Rupa Goswami told, these are the corrections I feel. Vallabha Bhatta told, these are the corrections I feel. And Jiva Goswami was like, no, this is not true. And he convinced him how those grammatical errors that he's thinking are really not grammatical errors. So Rupa Goswami wanted to show the world the glories of Jiva Goswami. And he said, this senior Vaishnava came to render service and you have the impudence to correct him? You have the guts to correct him? You dare to correct him? No one with a trace of false pride has the right to live in Vrindavan. Go home. You don't need to be in Vrindavan because you're so proud. And even though Jiva Goswami was trying to protect the work of Rupa Goswami gave him a chastisement. And he said, go back, go home. You're very proud. You don't deserve to live in Vrindavan. And what did Jiva Goswami do? He accepted this chastisement very humbly for his purification, thinking, I'm so proud, therefore I have been rejected. And he went to Nandaghat and he performed severe austerities to atone for this offense. But then when Sanatana Goswami found him, he brought him back to Vrindavan and told Rupa Goswami, please don't do this, he's very, very sincere. And then Rupa Goswami turned him back to proper health. In fact, Sanatana Goswami told Jiva Goswami, you come with me, we'll go to Rupa Goswami. And went to Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami himself entered into his bhajan kutir of Rupa Goswami and said, there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says, Jivo jivasya jivanam. Now this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam means that one living entity is food for another living entity. Jivo jivasya jivanam. To sustain one's jiva, one's life, one jiva has to sustain on another jiva. Jivo jivasya jivanam. And when he said that, Rupa Goswami understood that he's speaking about Jiva Goswami. Because another meaning of Jiva jivasya jivanam is that Jiva Goswami is the life of all living beings, of all the devotees. And Rupa Goswami understood that. He came outside and he saw Jiva Goswami, he embraced him. And especially because of the way Jiva Goswami had accepted the chastisement. Let's imagine if we were there and a senior devotee would have chastised us for doing a service that we did very nicely, and we did a service to protect them. And then that same person comes and starts chastising us. What would we do? Sometimes, if this kind of a thing is done, we say, well, I did it for you, and this is what I get. This devotional service, bhakti, does not work. No one cares for me. No one appreciates me. All I did was everything for you, and then now you're chastising me? For no fault of mine. What is my fault? Tell me. What is my fault? This is what we would have reacted. And you think that I'm proud? How can you think I'm proud? I'm so humbly correcting you, I'm so humbly serving you, and you dare judge me? I'm being judged. And we would cry and complain and try to prove the other person wrong. Whereas Jiva Goswami, he had done nothing wrong. But because his guru still chastised him, he accepted it humbly and gratefully. He had no remorse against Rupa Goswami. He didn't leave Vrindavan because he was upset with Rupa Goswami, but because he felt, I'm so impure, I don't deserve to live here. And when we react in this way, Krishna within our heart is pleased, and he gives us spiritual advancement. Real spiritual advancement does not come in being glorified by others. The whole world will say, oh, you're such a nice devotee, such a great devotee. But Krishna knows who we really are. And Krishna will give us spiritual advancement and detachment from the material attachments when he sees how we are reacting when no one is watching. And here, how we react. Maybe externally, in front of everyone, we may react very humbly. But internally, we must be thinking, I will take revenge. I will show this devotee how humble I am. This devotee, I'm not going to associate with him anymore. Him or her anymore. They don't realize my greatness. But if we do that, then Krishna will not give us any spiritual advancement. But if we very humbly try to improve ourselves, even though it was not our fault, still, if we do not retaliate, do not complain, and just try to see how we can improve, then that attitude of service attitude, that attitude of gratitude, that grateful attitude will give us spiritual advancement. So it is our choice whether we want glorification from all devotees, whether we want justice, or we want spiritual advancement. We want a temporary material justice, or we want Krishna. That is the choice that we have. So in this way, there are so many different pastimes of Srila Sanatana Goswami. One time, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he arrived in Vrindavan. Gopal Bhatta Goswami was the son of Vyankata Bhatta in South India when Lord Chaitanya had stayed for several months. And Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami wrote a letter to Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri that your dear servant Gopal Bhatta Goswami has come. Gopal Bhatta Goswami was a little boy when Lord Chaitanya stayed in his home for 4 months of Chaturmasya in South India. And when Lord Chaitanya was leaving, little Gopal Bhatta became so attached to Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to leave with him. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, your parents, you should serve your parents, and they are also devotees. Once they leave their body, then you come and join me in Vrindavan. And Rupa and Sanatana Goswami wrote, Gopal Bhatta, your Gopal Bhatta Goswami is here. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to see the loving relationships amongst the devotees and the six Goswamis in Vrindavan, he sent the very precious gift of his own remnants to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and sent a message to Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami and said, "It is my desire that you live together as brothers in loving relationships serving the mission of Vrindavan." This is the same instruction that Srila Prabhupada has given us. He said, your love will be shown by how you cooperate amongst each other. It is my desire that you live together as brothers in loving relationships, serving the mission of Vrindavan. This is Lord Chaitanya's message. And Srila Prabhupada's message, your love will be shown by how you cooperate amongst each other. Prabhupada didn't even say your love will be shown by how much you make devotees, which is also there, but how you make devotees in a way that includes everyone. So it's very important that we follow this advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the six Goswamis, and in this way Sanatana Goswami, he wrote Hari Bhakti Vilas, but he published it under the name of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Of course, Gopal Bhatta Goswami helped him to edit that book, but although Sanatana Goswami wrote it, he gave all the credit to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. This is devotee relationships. A devotee is happy to give the credit to others. If we can serve in our communities without thinking about who gets the credit, I just want to serve. I don't care who gets the credit, except me. I just want to make sure I don't get the credit. Then devotees will be very, very happy. Then Krishna will be very, very happy. And then it will be such a wonderful association of devotees. Sanatana Goswami wrote a book, an entire book, Hari Bhakti Vilas. And devotees know it, but on it the name is Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he, in his turn, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami came to Gopal Bhatta Goswami and asked, can you please tell me some of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya which I can record in Krishnadas, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gopal Bhatta Goswami said, okay, I will tell you, but there is one condition. I will tell you all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, but the condition is you will not write my name anywhere in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. My name should not come that I have told you these pastimes. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, although he very, very reluctantly he had to agree to this request, and therefore there is no mention of Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. But several of the pastimes there have been told to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So none of them really wanted to take any credit because they understood real credit is Krishna. Even if it's not like they were quiet and others were giving them credit. Even if others were giving them credit, they would try to distribute that credit to everyone else. So this was the wonderful relationship amongst the six Goswamis. One time, Sanatana Goswami, he lived in the district of Nandagram at Pavan Sarovar, and he slept under a tree, completely secluded place. Nobody in the world knew where he was. He was absorbed in worshipping Krishna and Srimati Radharani, and for days at a time he would just forget to even eat or drink. And just then, a beautiful young boy appeared with a very nice turban decorated with peacock feather and approached Sanatana Goswami and said, "Why are you living in this secluded place? Nobody even knows where you are. What if anything happens to you?" But I happen. So Sanatana Goswami said, "Well, apparently you know about it. Uh, no one, you say no one knows, but now you are here and you know. I wanted to be secluded." He said, "No, no, I just happened to be herding the cows and I saw you here, so I brought this bucket of milk for you. You seem to have not eaten for many days. Please drink this milk." And I want to tell you another thing. Your living on this ground under a tree is causing great distress, is causing great pain to the hearts of the Brajvasis. If you want to make all of us Brajvasis happy, please build a little hut for yourself and stay there. All right, I have to go now, but I'll be back to get my bucket of milk. And then the boy put the bucket of milk there and he just disappeared. And Sanatana Goswami was so charmed by this young boy's innocence. He accepted the milk and he started drinking. And as he drank the milk, his heart just erupted with uncontrollable ecstasy, and he understood that, what is this happening? What was this Mahaprasad milk? And then he realized this little boy is my worshipable Madan Gopal. He was so beside himself in transcendental love that Krishna had to appear to him in an invisible way just to pacify him. And Krishna told, "We are very sad, please build a bhajan kutir." That was the first time Sanatana Goswami accepted a bhajan kutir. And to this very day, if we go to the banks of Pavan Sarovar in Nandagram, we can go to worship the bhajan kutir of Sanatana Goswami. Otherwise, they were just living on hard ground, under a tree, different tree every night. Similarly, Srila Rupa Goswami also had a bhajan kutir, and that bhajan kutir was just a few minutes walk away near Ter Kadamba. Ter Kadamba is a very, very beautiful place. If any of you happen to visit Vrindavan, please go to Ter Kadamba. It's a very serene place, very calm. That's the place where Rupa Goswami wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That was the favorite place. That was the place where Krishna would go on top of the tree and then start calling out to the cows, "Neeli, Peeli, Hari," like that. He had names of different cows depending on the hue that they generate. And he would call out to them that it's time to go home. And there were so many cows, he had to go on top of the tree and shout for him. That's called Ter Kadamba. And right now it's being very wonderfully maintained. It's very beautiful. And Rupa Goswami, he wrote, he would practically every day come to visit Sanatana Goswami in his bhajan kutir in Pavan Sarovar from his bhajan kutir in Ter Kadamba. And when they were, Rupa Goswami considered Sanatana Goswami as his guru and spiritual master. So he begins the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by offering his obeisances to Sanatana Goswami. One day, Rupa Goswami, he wanted to offer some special prasad to Sanatana Goswami. And at that time, a very charming little gopi, little cowherd girl, very bholi gopi, she brought him some milk, sugar, rice, I believe there was some ghee and camphor and saffron. He said, "Why don't you cook this for your Gurudev?" This little girl came to Rupa Goswami and said this. But Rupa Goswami was very busy and he said, "Lali, I am very busy. I cannot cook right now. I don't have time." And so the little girl said, all right, I will cook it. And so she started cooking, and Rupa Goswami took that and went to Sanatana Goswami, and then they ate it together there. The first taste of this kheer, made up of milk, sugar, rice, ghee, camphor, and saffron, it just brought uncontrollable ecstatic love and tears from their eyes. And they started showing the symptoms, ashtavikar bhava, of prema. Their hairs were standing on end. They started perspiring just by eating one morsel. Now imagine if we eat a morsel of kheer and our hair starts standing on end, tears start pouring from our eyes, we start perspiring and trembling and rolling on ground. What would people think? Food poisoning! There is something in this kheer. Something happened. Some food poisoning has happened. They are perspiring. Their stomach must be paining. They are trembling. But guess what? These were symptoms of ecstasy. And Sanatana Goswami asked Rupa Goswami, where did you get this kheer? And Rupa Goswami, while rolling on the ground, he said, I don't know, this little girl, this holy gopi, she came and she gave it to me. She cooked it with her own hands. And Sanatana Goswami, after both of them came back to their senses, they said, tell me about this girl. Who was this girl? When he heard the description, Sanatana Goswami chastised Rupa Goswami that you have caused me to accept service from our worshipable object of service, Vrindavaneshwari Srimati Radharani. And Rupa Goswami was shocked. He was very ashamed. But this is how Krishna consciousness is. Simultaneous joy and pain, simultaneous meeting and separation. Though they were ashamed that we took service from Srimati Radharani, but they were so overjoyed with the love with which Srimati Radharani cooked that. They were ashamed that they are eating this rice which is cooked by Radharani, by her service, but they couldn't stop eating the sweet rice. And Srimati Radharani, she personally appeared in a dream, because Rupa Goswami especially, he was lamenting. Oh my God, what a big offense I've done, but I can't stop eating this sweet rice. But at the same time he started crying, sometimes in ecstasy, sometimes in lamentation. A combination of hot tears and cold tears were profusely coming through his eyes. And then they slept just like that. And Srimati Radharani personally appeared in a dream to Rupa Goswami and tried to pacify him. And said, it was my desire to teach the world through my devotees, through both of you, that how a devotee does not want to accept service from the Lord, but simply wants to offer service without any expectation in return. This is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the essence of love. That devotee wants to serve Krishna and Radha and Krishna and all the other devotees without any expectation. And the other devotees and Krishna want to serve this devotee without any expectation. Then real love comes. Alright, so it's time to end, and fortunately we have not been able to complete all the pastimes of Sanatana Goswami. I'm saying fortunately because these are so nectarian pastimes, we can keep going on and on. And there are several more pastimes of how Sanatana Goswami instructs Raghunath Das Goswami. So next time we'll sing another verse, and here through Sanatana Goswami, through the narration of Sanatana Goswami, we are actually getting introduced to different other Goswamis, to Rupa Goswami, to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Next time we'll get introduced to Raghunath Das Goswami through Sanatana Goswami. And then we'll continue this pastime of special leelas and the Leela of the touchstone by Sanatana Goswami, other Leelas in Govinda Kund, and many other mosquito pastimes that are there of Sanatana Goswami, and we'll see how it goes next time. So at this point, we will end here. I would just like to end with one understanding that that Atmaiva Manyate Jagat, however we are within, that is how we see people outside. This is one of the teachings of the six Goswamis, that if we are pure inside, we will see pure everyone outside. In fact, everything that we see or perceive is from within. We don't see or perceive from outside of ourselves anything. Anything that we see outside, suppose we are seeing something, it is nothing but a reflection of that particular thing. If I'm seeing, for example, I'm seeing a harmonium in front of me. But that harmonium that I'm seeing is nothing but a reflection of the light from this particular object, which is going into my eyes, and it's forming an image in the retina, and that is what the soul is seeing. The image that is being formed in the retina of the eye, that's what the soul is seeing. The soul is not actually seeing this object. It's seeing the image in the retina. So whatever we are seeing is actually internal. The soul is seeing everything which is inside of him. It looks as if this is outside. I'm seeing everything which is outside of me, but actually I'm seeing everything which is inside of me. All of this thing outside is being seen by me inside. So everything we see is within us, and everything we perceive about another person is also within us, not outside of us. Atmaiva manyate jagat. One time, a husband, an old man, was calling his wife, Aji sunti ho, please come here. And the wife was saying, yes, I'm coming. But because this old man was hard of hearing, he could not hear that his wife is saying, I'm coming. And he started shouting even louder, where are you? I'm calling for you and you're still not coming. And he is hard of hearing, and he cannot hear what his wife is saying, that his wife is saying, I'm coming. But he thinks that his wife is hard of hearing, and that therefore she is not responding. So Atmaiva Manate Jagat, he is hard of hearing, but he thinks that the other person is hard of hearing. And that's what happens with us. Whatever is within us, we see that in others outside. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if we see any fault in others, we are able to perceive that fault only because that fault is in us too. Therefore, we are able to recognize that and see it in others too. So if we are able to see a fault, that means that fault is in us too. That is the only reason we are able to recognize that fault. So let's try to fix that fault that is there in us, rather than fixing the fault that is there outside. So with this understanding, we will end today. If there are any questions or comments, we can take it now. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Madana Pranam to you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for narrating it so nicely. I mean, we feel so enthusiastic after listening from you, because the way the thing is said, the tone of the voice as is so important. We often hear that when we say something and the tone is soft, then, even if it's harsh words, it can be taken nicely. Similarly, the way you narrated the story of, it's so nice. Always wanted to hear about the Goswamis, and I'm developing a ruchi in my heart after hearing from you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I don't have a question, but we are so fortunate to have you on the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm glad to be of service.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. I have a question, Prabhuji, about praise and appreciation for the works that anyone does. So should we be so calculative about even to think that I should not accept the praise, we should be conscious. So should we even be conscious about it? Should we instead divert our energy and our thoughts on how to please Krishna, irrespective of whether somebody is praising or somebody is being praised or not? Because otherwise it becomes a conscious activity and our focus shifts there. So what should we be doing?
What should we do if someone praises us? Is that your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, whether others praises or not, should we even think about, okay, I don't want to take this praise, so I'll do something about it. Should we think like that?
Well, as long as we have this false ego, yes, we should accept that humbly, that I'm not in a liberated position and I will be affected by this praise, whether I do something about it or not. And if someone praises us, then it's very rude and arrogant to not accept it. So the Vaishnava behavior, the Mayavadi behavior is no, I don't want any praise. No, this is not what I did. But Vaishnava way is, yes, I was used as an instrument to do this, so I will accept it and immediately pass it on to my Guru Maharaj, to Srila Prabhupada, and in this way they will pass to their Guru, and through Parampara it will reach Krishna. So the Vaishnava way of accepting praise is that we accept it, we graciously thank the other person, but then immediately pass it on to our Gurus and to everyone else, distribute it to everyone else. Because it's very impersonal to not reciprocate with a person who is trying to appreciate. That person is trying to appreciate not us. That person is appreciating the good qualities that are given to us, whose source is Krishna himself. So ultimately he is actually appreciating Krishna, because the qualities that we have, that he is appreciating, are nothing but qualities which are loaned by Krishna to us. The source of all those qualities is Krishna. So by saying no, this is not there, that's like negating it. That's not the proper way. We should accept it humbly, gratefully, graciously, and then pass it on to Gurus and to everyone else. And we could say that, no, this is because of a collective effort, this is because of the mercy of my Guru Maharaj or Srila Prabhupada, this is because of all of your blessings that this has happened. And we really mean it, not just say it for the sake of just saying it, but actually understand it in our heart that whatever I did, I was just used as an instrument for a particular purpose.